I'm Cherie.
I'm Chris.
And we're Technomadia.
And this has been 2017. One hell of a year.
Oh my gosh. It's not only been a year of a lot of change and transition in our lives, in travels, it's also been enough challenges.
Challenges, and this is a year of also not a lot of motion compared to our prior maps of bouncing around the country or covering major territory. This entire year has basically been in Florida, except for one slight evacuation.
I mean, it was just over the border to Alabama.
Yes.
The RV, we traveled just over 2,000 miles this year, and half of that was for our hurricane evacuation.
Yay!
And then the boat, I think we topped out the year at like 485 nautical miles. So not a lot of miles this year.
But, that's actually kind of what we were aiming for, is we wanted to switch to boating life and really dial back our miles. And in boating, a mile of boating is...
6 miles, 7 miles of RVing.
Yeah, it's a whole different world, a whole different pace, and that was our goal, our whole change in the adventure. So I guess that kind of gets us back to this time last year we were looking for our boat. We were looking to change up our lives and find a way to live on water for half the year, dividing our time.
So we spent 2016 gearing up for it, researching, shopping, finding out what type of boat we wanted. And this time last year, we had actually just saw Why Not in person.
Yes. Oh, God. We were at the bus rally in Arcadia. The Arcadia Big Vintage Bus Rally had actually left the rally to go do some bus touring and boat touring. And that's kind of a perfect place to start the year off. And it was like, that one's probably not going to work for us, is actually the thought that went through our mind at the time.
Yeah. In person, it didn't present as well as it did online. I mean, that's typical in any dating site. And, shopping for a boat or an RV is kind of like dating online. The pictures tend to be a little older than the person you're actually meeting.
Yeah. And sometimes you got to get over some of those surprises. Like, things that we initially saw about Why Not was there's no place to put a dinghy. It's actually turned into some of our, the having the top patio deck and then the dinghy on the back swim platform has become one of our favorite features of the boat. But that's something that actually kind of turned us off the very, very first time we saw it. So that was an entire year ago.
And so we spent the first 2 months roaming around Florida, basically taking advantage of last-minute cancellations at state parks and Army Corps of Engineer parks in our RV, and then also doing some free boondocking in Florida, which is possible.
There's some really awesome boondocking in Florida, I have to say.
So we're just mainly roaming around Florida, still looking at boats. And then when we decided that Why Not was the boat we were going to proceed with, there's a 6-week process of surveys and getting all the paperwork together before you can actually close. So we spent those 2 months roaming around Florida, enjoying, I think, 6 or 7 new parks to us in Florida, and had a really great time in the RV.
Yeah, and then just that gearing up for that transition of moving houses, learning how the boat works, figuring out where we're going to put the boat to start our life on the water. So we actually picked a marina. It was kind of challenging because at the beginning of the season we bought Why Not, this is still the high season in Florida, so we had to find a marina that had space for us, and we found Burnt Store Marina.
Between Punta Gorda and Fort Myers. Yeah. And we were there for our first 2 months in the boat. We hired a training captain, kind of got our sea legs, did some overnight anchoring, got comfortable docking, and we had the challenge that to get a pump out, we had to physically move our boat over to the fuel dock. So we had to get really good at docking pretty quickly.
That was a strong incentive to learn how to move the boat, not just to sit on it. And then we also had to tackle a lot of boat projects, like things you discover when you move in, or like, this faucet leaks, and this is broken, and the ice maker doesn't work, and all sorts of things we had to dive into to make the boat a livable home and to start to get comfortable with it. And it worked out great. We really liked that time period.
But we got pretty bored with Burnt Store Marina. It's a beautiful location there along the Charlotte Bay. Great place to get some cruising experience in because it's pretty easy boating. It's a really great area. But there's nothing around Burnt Store Marina. It's 10 miles to nowhere.
Yes, yeah, there's one restaurant on site, and we're the kind of people, we like to walk places, we like to explore, we like to be on foot. We don't like to have to hop in a car to do our basic shopping. So we were ready for some city life. So we eyed around and scoped out Fort Myers and the Legacy Harbor Marina and right in downtown Fort Myers just called to us when we toured it. So we're like, that's our first stop on the Great Loop. Let's start this loop adventure.
So by driving by car, it's like only a dozen miles, but to get there by boat, it's about 49 nautical miles. And we surprised ourselves. We got our sea legs a lot sooner than we anticipated with the practicing that we're doing and the time with our training captains. And so we decided on, it was late April is when we officially set off on our Great Loop adventure by tackling that first repositioning. And we did some anchoring stops along the way. I think we took about a week to get to Fort Myers.
Yeah.
And we only intended to be in Fort Myers for a month.
But we actually fell in love with Fort Myers, fell in love with this marina. It was a fabulous facility. And it was a great opportunity to just really enjoy urban life. We were downtown. We were walking distance to everything. We were walking distance to a Publix. There was live theater, amazing restaurants all there. We didn't know a thing about Fort Myers before we got there. We ended up really digging the city.
And because it was off season, the marina was pretty empty, and we got this sweet corner spot with this panoramic view of the Calahoochee River. I think that's how you pronounce it. Beautiful sunsets, just gorgeous, gorgeous location to be, and a lot of privacy. So we stayed there for 3 months over the summer, and it was great. We had been in a lot of transition getting to this point, and being still and exploring marina life in urban areas is exactly what we were wanting.
Yeah. So let us tackle some big things like figuring out our dinghy and our davit situation, because we knew we didn't want to head out more cruising until we had a dinghy, and we didn't have a place to put a dinghy until we figured out the davit. So
which we have a video coming up on that soon.
Yeah, so got that handle while we were in Fort Myers, got caught up on engine maintenance, learned a lot more about the boat, and did a couple day trips. Went through our first lock. We did a trip up the river and just got to experience locking.
We did lots of day cruising. We continued practicing, continued getting comfortable with docking and trying different marinas. We did some overnights at other marinas.
Yeah.
And when August rolled around and we'd been there for 3 months, we were like, we could really be convinced to stay here a little bit longer, but we got in this lifestyle to cruise, and we should probably cruise some.
Yeah, so we had a choice of to go across Florida via Lake Okeechobee, or just head down south and start our adventure going down into the Keys. Either one of those are routes along the Great Loop, and we decided, let's go for the Keys.
Now, of course, it's peak hurricane season, and we knew this going in, that to get anywhere in our comfortable cruising range, we were going to have the risk of hurricane season. And we stayed in Fort Myers. If we went anywhere, it was going to be a risk.
But it's been 12 years since a major hurricane. You know what? And everybody in Florida has to make these trade-offs and decisions. And we're like, okay, we'll deal with it if it comes. And we had a really wonderful, beautiful cruise through the Everglades. Really got to do some amazing remote anchorages and spots going on our trip down to the Keys. Got to the Keys, got settled into a wonderful little marina called Burdines that was
in Buki Harbor, Marathon.
And
just as we're getting settled in and thinking, okay, we might just stay here for a month or two, tackle the solar projects and the lithium upgrades. Irma.
Yes, the day Irma decided the day we evacuated was the day we were going to be finalizing our solar design with a local solar installer.
Oh, gosh.
So that Irma comes barreling through Florida and derailed everything. That turned into the story.
The challenge of the big year. The first big challenge of our year.
Big challenge.
We all know, you're watching this, you've probably been following along. You know that nearly 80% of the boats in the Keys were heavily damaged or lost, and somehow we miraculously survived. We're just so grateful.
So we weren't crazy people. We did evacuate. We tied up our boat best we can. We went through all the possible trade-offs of but we decided we got to get our bus was still in the path of the storm. So we got to save at least one of our houses. We can't have.
Stupid.
It would be ridiculous to lose them both. And the path of Irma at the time we decided this was going to be basically barrel up the state and hit both of them. So we made a plan to secure the boat, evacuate the Keys. Everyone had to evacuate the Keys. Get to the bus, and then we just evacuated. We just kept staying out of the path of the storm. It felt like it was chasing us all the way down.
565-mile evacuation, and then back. And then we get back to the boat, and the damage is so minimal. It's crazy, especially when you look around at everything else around
the
us.
damage to our boat was minimal, and then just around us. It was so heartbreaking going back into the Keys, back into our marina, everything was, it was devastating. Our boat sunk right out our window in two different directions. And we tried our best. We dove into living in that situation.
We volunteered.
Yep.
We helped with recovery efforts, and then once we were at one of the docks where all of the recovery efforts for the Marine was going on, so we were checking in regularly of what the conditions are in the channels out there. And at the end of October, it seemed like the main channel out was safe enough to navigate.
And we were feeling mentally safe enough to head out as well.
And we did have some minor repairs to attend to, and we couldn't do them in Marathon or the Keys. All of the boat yards, they were either shut down or overloaded. So we made arrangements up in Fort Pierce to attend to those and some of those upgrades. And of course, the very last channel getting out of the Keys.
Yes.
We hit a channel marker.
Yeah, so we had a wonderful cruise up out of the Keys, some more beautiful anchorages.
Another tropical storm.
Actually rode out another tropical storm, Philippe. This one was very minor. And we're on our way. It's going to be quite a cruising adventure because we had a pretty fast-paced need now suddenly to get up to Fort Pierce because we've been down so long. And, we hit a bump in the water, and that turned into our next major boating derailment/adventure.
So our 2017 ends. We have just been released from the boatyard after 5 weeks living on the hard, attending to the running gear repairs. So the struts sheared off, and so the props, struts, rudders and shafts all needed realignment and re-putting back together. That's all been done.
Yeah. And we also tackled things like getting the bottom repainted, handled some of our hurricane damage repairs that we had queued up that we're planning to do in Fort Pierce, and then we're like, we're stuck in the boatyard. Let's tackle all of our marine electronics. So we did the big marine electronics project, all in that crazy time, up on stilts with no air conditioning in Miami.
It was tough. So we are ending 2017 pretty exhausted, pretty mentally depleted. It's been a tough few months. We know a lot have tougher, so we're not going to have a pity party over that, but we're tired. We are very much looking forward to some downtime. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be in our cards for the next few months because we had some...
let's go for an RV trip. How about that?
Let's do an RV trip. So we will be putting the boat in storage for the winter. And we had a pre-commitment to speak at the RV Entrepreneur Summit in Texas in late February. And we will be getting the RV out of storage and doing about somewhere between a 4 and 8 week RV trip around that event, which I'm very much looking forward to getting back into some remote camping. I do miss it. Yes. And having some RV time. And then we'll return to the boat in springtime and continue the Great Loop of getting out of the hurricane zone by peak season this year.
Yes, so that was our 2017, a bit of a peek at our plans for 2018, and
intentions, not plans.
Yeah, intentions, and we are looking forward to a less dramatic year next year, please.
Business-wise, business is doing well. If you know, we also run the Mobile Internet Resource Center.
Yeah, this channel is not our job. We are not YouTube personalities trying to make a living doing this.
We just share for fun. And that's one big move we made earlier this year is we separated out our mobile internet content to its own channel. So if you're missing our mobile internet content that we used to cross-post also here on Technomadia, make sure you also subscribe to our Mobile Internet Resource Center channel because that's where the news stories and guides are going now.
We're about to be recording a year in review and look towards 2018 from the technology and internet perspective. So that's all on the work channel. This is the play channel.
So this year we have really shifted Technomadia, the blog, Instagram, Facebook, and this channel to be our fun personal space. This is all hobby. This is what we do after hours. This is more like us inviting you into our living room.
And us sharing our photo album and our videos and the fun stuff that we are up to. And we love to share like that.
It's been a lot of fun for us. It's also sometimes a lot of work. We introduced in the produced travelogues when we started the Great Loop. We love the outcome of them, but they're a lot of work. So we have some decisions to make in the coming year of how we balance our personal life with the sharing and the effort it takes. Because this is a hobby. We have no intentions of turning this into an income generation sort of thing.
A little bit of side money is great, but it's not our work.
No, has to be fun for us.
Right.
But our professional focus is on the Mobile Internet Resource Center, and we have made a lot of big improvements there over the last year. We have staff now that helps us out with the content creation and covering topics that we don't have experience with. Mm-hmm. And we've launched a classroom to help walk our fellow nomads through their mobile internet options and understanding the trade-offs.
And we're broadening our focus to start covering more marine gear as well as RV gear. So
that remains a heck of a lot of fun for us. And, when work and fun is all in the same, we tend to work too many hours. So that's one of our goals in the coming year, is to have more balance in our personal lives.
Right.
More fun, less work, or less work, more fun. One of those two, we'll figure it out.
Which maybe that'll mean there's more video content on this YouTube channel, but hopefully we just avoid things being work. Either way, which side of it is.
One thing we did do with social media this year is, we've adopted a zero negativity policy. So if you leave negative comments, it just goes away.
And that's not a challenge for you, by the way.
No. We just don't put up with it.
Yeah.
Life is too short for that sort of stuff. If you don't like our content, that's fine. There's other channels. We are doing what we want to do and what we want to share. But the other thing that we did is we started a Patreon community this year, not for funding. It's not about content funding.
It's not big high tiers and give us lots of money type Patreon. It's more of a closed community, just a little bit more of a safe place.
Yeah, it was something we've always craved on the road, is some place to kind of share the daily's ups and downs without that critical eye of the public.
And sometimes, the more raw behind the scenes stuff that we don't feel like we have to do. Put on our YouTube happy faces sometimes to share with the patrons.
So we've really enjoyed that community. We were really surprised that over 200 people joined us there over the last couple of months, and it has been a blessing for us in these last few months of challenges to have that community to kind of be a little bitchy about and vent. And it's funny when you're surrounded by positivity and you don't have to be defensive. It doesn't come out as venting.
Right.
So it's been really good for us. So that's something you want to join us in if you feel connected to us as Chris and Cherie, not just...
And you want us to be able to get to know you. That's the other great thing about the Patreon community, is we do video chat hangouts, and we're getting to know the people on the other end of the line, which is one of the things we love to share, because we get to meet people. And this one-way sharing, a la the big broadcast YouTube, doesn't really press that button for us nearly as much.
And for us, it is about community. We're introverts. We're not, if we encounter someone in public, we're not going to approach you because we're shy. You may not see that on this side of the camera, but we are introverts. We are not the type of people that are going to go out meeting people in a marina or a campground. So when you reach out to us and say, hey, you're in my area, I'd love to meet up, that means the world to us. And that's our greatest reward for the sharing. So don't hesitate to invite us over if we're passing your way.
And just don't invite us over to pick our brains. Invite us over to be social and hang out, not because you want free internet.
And our brains tend to fall out in the process.
Yes, our brains will fall out, whatever. But yes, that's...
Anyway, 2017 has been a very memorable year.
It's been a year.
We're looking forward to continuing sharing with you in 2018, and are wishing you prosperity and whatever peace and joy you seek in the year ahead.
Happy New Year. Turn the page.
2017. Over.
Bye.